welcome to the program. Our program title is On the Steps to City Hall. We have a very special guest in studio with us. She's Robyn Ritter Simon. She's a candidate for the District 5 or 5th District LA City Council seat. Am I correct, Robyn?
You are correct, Dean. Thank you.
Robyn, tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure.
Where you're from, something about yourself personally.
I welcome having that opportunity. I thank you so much for having a forum here for us candidates to get out there and share with the voters and the viewers about why we're running for office.
Yes.
You asked where I'm from. I am the homegrown candidate. I grew up in the 5th District, attended all LAUSD schools, met my husband here in this district, and we are now raising our 3 sons in the same community. And I share that with you because that's part of the reason why I'm running. I really do believe it's important that someone represents us who has an understanding of the demographics and the characteristic of the community in which they want to represent. And I believe that working here and growing up here and raising a family here and going to school here are all qualities that really contribute to understanding what this city and what this district are like. Professionally, my career started very similar to this. It started in a studio. I was a broadcast journalist for many years doing political work. Yes, and so that's what I was going to be forever and ever. I may have had even your job, Dean, if I didn't decide to run for office. But then something wonderful happened in my life, which led me to run for public office. And it happened in my own community, and it dealt with my children and the local school that was just down the street from where I currently live and have lived for many, many years. And I was curious as to why the local community wasn't supporting the local school. And myself and several other concerned parents got together and decided to become community activists on behalf of the families and the children in our neighborhood. And we set out to make change. And to this day, the changes that we made had tangible and lasting results. We took a school that was not being supported by a community, and we made it the anchor of the community. And all of the children in the neighborhood now attend Canfield Avenue Elementary because of the efforts that we put forth. What's interesting about this story and why I choose to share it with your viewers today is because nobody asked me to do this work, nobody compensated me to do it, but I recognized that there was a problem within the community, really, you know, on the ground, something to do with the schools and the children, and I set out to make a difference. And I think when people take a look at candidates that they want to have representing them or elected officials, they need to look at the body of their work. And yes, it's impressive to have things on your bio, but have they ever really done anything in the community that affected change? And I can proudly say that I have. I've done something that to this day is still existing, and it had made tremendous change, and it bettered the community. And that's really what it's all about, is doing something that betters the community, and that's what I see the job of a council member as. That's
terrific, Robyn. I mean, that really shows a commitment, a dedication, a concern, and I think a sensitivity to what's going on, right?
Absolutely.
You were sensitive to some problems,
yes.
You got involved, you're instrumental in solving them, and you're going to carry that forward into the 5th District. Am I right?
Dean, can you join the campaign? Because that is exactly the message I want voters to get. Yes, I had a whole professional background, and I'm happy to get into that, but it's that story, that signature story about being a leader, about working with the community, about bringing people together to make a difference. And sometimes in Los Angeles, we don't feel very connected. It's a big city.
Yes.
This is an example of how you can be connected to your community, and you really can make a difference. So for all of those folks out there watching who are not feeling empowered and feeling like, what can they do in their local community? This is a story that'll resonate with them. It will show them that they too have the power to make change and make a difference.
Let me ask you this, Robyn. Based on your experience there in the 5th District, and I understand really you're kind of raised there, you've lived there, you've experienced the happenings there. What do you believe is the big issue relative to the 5th District now? Whether it's environmental, whether it's relative to sensitivity to the needs of the people who live there, taxes, or the green eco phenomenon. What do you think?
You know what, Dean? all of the issues you just listed are important, every single one of them. So when people say, okay, you can't possibly tackle every single one of those issues, and if you needed to narrow it down to what perhaps your 3 priorities are when you get into office, for me, those issues would be transportation, crime, and education. We have a severe gridlock problem on the west side, and there are immediate remedies that we can implement right now, synchronizing our lights, making the light signals work better to make traffic flow easier. That's terrific, but unless we get serious about a comprehensive strategic transportation plan, we're never going to relieve our transit problem. I am an advocate of light rail. Without building the Expo line and the subway to the sea and all of the other light rail projects that are online, and thanks to the passage of Measure R now, we will have the funding for those projects, we are not going to be able to address the traffic problems. The second issue is crime. I applaud the mayor for his commitment to wanting to increase the police department. We are so severely under-patrolled. We have some 25 officers for 10,000 residents, very behind what New York and Chicago, comparable cities. If we don't make a commitment, even in financially strapped times, to ensure that we increase the police department so that we are safe, then we are not doing our job as public servants. And then education. I have a passion for that issue, as I just shared with you with my story in my own community. Many people will say, well, Robyn, as a council person, you really don't have jurisdiction over education, and I beg to differ with them. The children that live in my community and the parents that send their children to the schools in my community are my responsibility. And I believe that for too long, council members did not partner enough with the Board of Education to address the needs of education. If we don't have a workforce to tap into and build talent among our youth so that we can have an economy that works well, then what are we doing here? So while I pointed out those 3 issues, there are many more that you pointed out. Green jobs and making sure we take care of our environment, absolutely important. You talked about taxes. I'm proud to say that LA City Controller Laura Chick has endorsed me. She endorsed me early because she recognizes that I get that every tax dollar spent needs to be accounted for, and that it's just not okay to constantly be going to the taxpayers and say, give me, give me, give me, unless we deliver on those services. So being efficient and holding general managers accountable for how they spend those dollars and run their departments is also a priority.